Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Before I go any further, let me play my theme song. All right. I'm so happy to be with you all on today. Yesterday, I do apologize. I had a doctor's appointment that I could not modify. Therefore, I do this live every morning. I don't do pre-recordings. However, I wish I would have kind of prepared a little bit better to have a pre-recording for yesterday. I would like to say happy hump day. We are in the middle. Before I go a step further, I just would like to say a really quick prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your amazing grace. We really appreciate you allowing us to be a part of this side of the world. Thank you so much for allowing us to see this day. We're just asking for your continuous peace, your continuous protection, your continuous prayer. You are our power source. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, so that's important. We can't, let me tell you something. It ain't a day that's going to happen without God, without the higher power approval. I like to say with God's approval. Sometimes we put so many things in our own hands. It's like we think that everything is just, all I got to do this thing right here and this thing's happen. I always like to say if God approves, because if God approves, then it's happening for me. No matter what the desire is, if the creator approves it, then it ain't a bull on the planet that's going to get in the way of what the creator has approved for me. All right, there's a few things that's happening online. Of course, I am still very much on the Carmelo Anthony story. I'm not going to stop talking about this story because this is a big story, and it's going to have a lot of different things that's going to come to light. There's going to be a lot of preparation for this. This young man is going to be fighting for his life. And as he's fighting for his life, another family is burying an identical twin. You already know the impact of having two faces that look just alike, that sound alike, that behave similar to one another. And when one, is no longer present, that has an effect on the other, that the entire family's life have been changed. This is a terrible situation, and there is no victory on either side. One boy has lost his life. Another boy is fighting for his life, and it's going to take a lot to fight the fight that is required. All right, I found this video where the woman is talking about some of the misconceptions that people have as it relates to Carmelo Anthony. One person said something along the lines, oh, Carmelo Anthony, probably didn't have a father. And so this woman created a video to showcase that not only did he have a father, they well taken care of. So I want you to hear this story really quickly. Hold on. My motto, don't take my word for it. If you all are new here, I'm Madam President with a Z. I'm 100% politically incorrect. I do this Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's the video right here. If you can see it, I can see it.
Actually have been together for over 7.
This video is in response to he was fatherless.
A lot of people racist people specifically, were saying that Carmelo Anthony must not have had his father in his life, and his father must be a deadbeat, no good person to raise this thug, and that he must be living in the hood and not living good. So I wanted to share these family photos of Carmelo Anthony with his father, his mother, and his siblings, who actually have been together for over 17 years. His family has been together for over 17 years. Okay. One mom, all four kids, same dad, very middle upper class family. Interesting. Because I think a lot of racist people were saying that he didn't come from a loving family and that his father was probably in prison or a loser and had abandoned him when he was young because of the stereotypes that you guys hear about Black people. The Black father must not have been in the home. Well, it seems like his father loves him very much. And it seems like he was raised a good young man, whether you guys like it or not. But you know who came from a broken home? The Metcalf boys came from a broken home because their parents aren't together. And I think the question that I would want to know is, I wonder how coming from a home where the parents aren't together, how that would have affected the twins. I wonder.
Anthony.
Oh, let's see that video really quickly. I didn't mean to cut it off that fast. Let's see that video. That was Anthony talking right.
He low-key fast. Number one low-key fast, dude. I might have to if you play number two, I'm gonna have to lock in, I swear. Hey bro, how much you think? What's the score? What'll be the score? Yeah. They gonna try and throw deep shots though. That's the thing. I got number two. Bro, you not open, bro. Shut up. You not open, bro.
I just wanted to put this right here.
All right, so here's okay. Sometimes we when you use the I come from a two-parent household, when you use I come from an established family, when you use my parents have been together for 17 years, when you use that I am intellectual, I have good grades, when you use those facts, I want you to know that the court is even more prone to make you responsible for another man's death. Let me tell you why. When you go to the court and you say, I've been in foster care since the age of, since birth. When you go to the court and you say, I've been in juvenile detention centers since birth, they understand behavioral issues. Because you got to remember, we're not set to look at this scenario as if that, you know, two teenagers having a fight is normal. The abnormal part behind it is one teenager ending up dead and one walking away. That is the abnormal side of the fight. There was a young man. I told this story several times. I won't tell it today, but if you follow me on Instagram, I may hop back on and tell this story. But I knew a young man who got 40 years in prison, first time offense, sentenced to 40 years. Do you understand judges don't give a damn if you got your mama, you got your daddy, you got your sister, you've been to Disney World, if you're middle class? This is why we're telling young men, don't do it. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to have to defend your life. This is why we keep saying that. 2 + 2 ain't 4 in the justice system. What you think is normal ain't normal in the justice system. And some of you all are confusing to me. I'm confused why you believe that losing a fight result in death. Have you all ever had a fight before? You ain't never had your ass whooped? You ain't never had a fight. You ain't never got tagged one good time. See, you ain't from the city, that's why. This is so funny thinking about one of my friends I went to high school with. There was this girl who was trying to, I went to visit one of my friends. This was high school. We was probably about juniors in high school. We were sitting on her porch, and this girl came and sat on the porch. She was a neighborhood bully. The girl was a big girl too. She wasn't no little girl. She probably was over 5'10", 200 pounds. You know, wasn't nobody trying to have no fight with her. She sat on the porch and she looked at my friend. She said, "I don't like you." My friend looked at her and said, "I don't know why he did nothing to you." And so there was this guy who was there instigating the situation. And he said, "She wants to fight you."
Mhm.
And my friend said, "I'm not about to fight her. Hell no. She whipped everybody's ass on this block. She not about to whip my ass on no random Tuesday." My point is, fights happen. You all have normalized this idea that fights don't happen. Fights happen. People have discourse, disconnect, disagreement. It does not end in death. Some of you all have rationalized the behavior. You watch too much TV because TV will have you believing that, oh, yeah, so it's just self-defense. It's just self-defense. If someone's attacking you and you find a weapon and stab them and they die, it's just self-defense. You are delusional to believe that the court system will have a dead body and not have someone be accountable for it. Anyways, I'm going to move on because I think this is a terrible situation. We don't want these kind of occurrences to happen. I was talking to my partner this morning. My partner says, "You remember the episode of Friday? You fight, but you live. You live. You know, you use your hands because you live to fight another day." I believe that was the saying. But anyways, as we move on, we're going to stay on top of this case. We don't want it to, we want to stay on top of it. And I do believe that the media, you have to understand that white media's position and responsibility is to continuously vilify Black faces. They use this tactic as a means to harass Black people, to demean Black people. You wonder why you walking through a store, people following you. They don't know. Some white folks don't have no interaction with Black folks outside of common areas like stores and restaurants. They live in white neighborhoods. They go to white golf places. They attend predominantly white schools. They do not have interaction with Black folks. So their perception, their idea, their knowledge of Black people is through media. Their knowledge is through media. They don't have any firsthand experience with Black people. Everybody, this is why imaging is so important. You cannot keep vilifying Black faces. Now, I wrote a TV show concept that talked about how it's a really good, interesting concept, but basically it's a law drama that it makes everybody a Jane and a John Doe because of jurors' inability to not have race bias. It's embedded in everybody's mental psychology to have an anticipated thought process behind Blackness. Black people do not get fair trials, even with Black folks on the jury, even with Black folks on the jury, because Black folks have history with one another that, may not be pleasant. So old Black women be like, "Oh yeah, them young boys, da, 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 da." So you put a 50-year-old Black woman on the jury, and Tyrone and knocked her ass out last summer. Tyrone knocked her out, took her purse. You think she's not going to have a bias on young Black men? Yes, she will. It is almost impossible to not have a bias on young Black men, especially with the use of the media. So the TV show that I created, it pretty much it eliminates race and gender in its totality. Intellectuals are the only people can be on the jury. That's number one. Number two, the only information that even the judge has is the crime itself, nothing else. It's a really good concept. If you see it, I will say, like, I'm not doing the show no more because I got my big check, but I'll still do the show. But yeah. Anyways, I'm moving on. So I saw this recently. Churches across America have started passing around credit card machines instead of traditional collection plates. Come on, somebody say the church is hip in the chat. Somebody say that the church is hip in the chat. Let me tell you something. The church be like, I got Cash App, I got Zelle, I got everything, Venmo, run me my money. It says, if you grew up in the church, you know the deal. When an offering plate comes around, give from the heart and or the wallet. But now that most folks don't carry cash, churches are getting creative. A video recently went viral showing church members using credit cards and Apple, Google Pay to give their tithes using offering machines, kind of like passing around portable card readers. The post blew up on Twitter with over 1 million views, and people are split on how they feel about it. Some think it's a smart way for churches to meet the people where they are financially and digitally. Others are calling it out, saying passing machines in public feels like pressure or guilt tripping or guilt tipping. I don't know, that just felt appropriate. Commenters pointed out that digital tithing isn't new. Apps like Tithely and Giveify have already been helping churches collect donations more easily for years. But the main issue for many isn't the tech, it's how it's being used. And of course, some people don't trust it at all, especially when it comes to mega churches, saying it feels more like a money-making scheme than ministry. In the words of Marvin Sapp, how about this? In the words of Marvin Sapp, never would have paid it without you. Okay. That's how it goes. Never, 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 never would have paid it without you. All right. I have to put the sound effect there because that felt appropriate as well. All right. Don't forget that this is brought to you by flynubianmoney.com. This isn't just the Madam President show. This is produced by flynubianmoney.com. This is where you go when you want to get your mind up. If you want to get your money up, this is where you go as well. This is where people go to connect, as well as find out what's happening in the latest news with flynubianmoney.com. Text Queens to 87948. Also, do not forget to text Madam P. I believe it's Madam P or Prez. I'm not sure. I believe it's Madam P to 87948. No, it's Madam. Don't forget to text Madam to 87948. 87948. Text Madam. All right. That's just first and foremost. The next thing, the church is going to do what the church is going to do. Churches have financial responsibilities. And a lot of times when people have financial struggles, they go to the church. Now, what bothers me the most about the church is, I think we have too many churches. I think God called so many preachers, but never called those preachers to be engineers or other, money-making career paths, which sometimes feels a little exhausting. Another thing I will say is churches help people. That's the truth. We don't get a chance to talk about how the church probably can't financially help everybody, but churches do help people. When you can't pay your rent, people go to the church. When you need food, people go to the church. Now, I wish our churches was a little bit more rooted in self-sufficiency and intellect as well as education. Kanye West said when he was trying to break the thresholds from becoming a millionaire to the billionaire, because he understood that he was not going to be able to create enough rap music to live a life of retirement. He understood that. So that's why he got into the fashion. He had already had an interest in fashion. But he said when he got into the fashion, he did not know how much money he actually needed. So he needed over $100 million to really get into the fashion industry the way that he wanted. And he said that when he realized he was lacking information, somebody put information in the chat. Information is the invisible threshold to new tax brackets. Somebody put tax bracket in the chat. The threshold to the new tax bracket that you desire relies in the information that you get access to. Information sometimes comes easy. And guess what I learned? Sometimes it does not. You have to go and get access to the information. Some people will give you, now we live in a world of digital access, digital, info. So you can find some things. But I realized that some things, what you don't know, some things come from some other people. I have been working in my industry like 10 years, and I literally just found out something a year ago to my benefit that I never knew 9 years ago. Does that feel good? No, it doesn't feel good to be uninformed or lack information for 9 years about something that you were in the realm of. That's why they always say, we want to hide something from Black folks, you put it in a book. I don't believe in it. I believe we're fully capable of getting all the info that we need. But we have to be, we have to be vigilant. We have to desire the information to get access to the information. And then you can't be lazy about it. Like once you are informed, you have to execute. That's another thing. All right. So once we know information, and I had a woman who I had considered becoming my coach because I needed to learn more about business. This is why I don't like the education system that they gave us. They had us learning, geometry. What the hell I'm gonna do with geometry? By the time you get 40 years old, there is no use of geometry. My geometry teacher, he probably knew that, but it was on the curriculum. We had to learn it. So, anyways, I got one of my dogs behind me, just really annoying me for one moment. So, anyways, we moving on. Mega Millions increased its ticket prices from $2 to $5. If you are in the chat, somebody put going up. I want you all to see this because Mega Millions is supposed to be something that goes back into education, supposedly by state. A lot of people spend money on lotteries. If you can see this, put Mega Millions in the chat. If you can see this, put Mega Millions in the chat. I think you can see it, possibly. If you can see this, put Mega Millions in the chat. So, all right. So this is what I want you to know. The Mega Millions increases tickets from $2 to $5. The increase in price is projected to improve odds of winning from 1 in 303 million to 1 in 290 million. We just shaved off, about 13 million in odds, but hey, Mega Millions just raised its tickets to $5, starting with this week's drawing. The idea is to bring in more money, improve the odds a little more, and pump out bigger jackpots more often, especially those billion-dollar ones that get people hyped. Now, jackpots will start at 50 million instead of 20 million, and when no one wins, the prize will grow faster than before. Plus, non-jackpot prizes will be bigger, starting at $10, and even ticket includes a random multiplier that can boost your winnings. No extra charge. Can we just say scam? Just put scam in the chat. It just feels like a big old scam. You know, oh yeah, we just raised it up and your odds are just we improved the odds. You're just being greedy because you are a greedy bastard. That's why. That's the real reason. You're greedy. It's not the improving of odds. You just greedy. We are a country of greed. You win $20 million off a $2 ticket. That is sufficient. You do not have to go up. You do not have to improve the odds. You do not have to pretend as if this is going to be better for the people and for the society and have a better chance at winning. Also, do you all want to know the real story behind the lottery? Back in the day, Black folks started lottery. It was called running numbers. We were running numbers. Go Google running numbers. And when we were running numbers, they would just come and write us all these tickets, arrest us because we were gambling illegally. We were gambling illegally. And then this is what they have done systemically to Black people for centuries is they find the proper they legalize it and push us out of it because now all of a sudden it's a state thing and we have the legal and we have the machines and we have the money and now we do it. Thieves. Now, I'm just gonna say, if you hit the jackpot, hit me up. But I'm not the one that goes all, and that buys tickets. It's not my thing. I am the lottery. That's my thing, my dream, my mind, my ability. That's the jackpot. This system will have you chasing so many things without realizing that you are the lottery. You the jackpot. Somebody put jackpot in the chat. I am the jackpot. Put it in the chat. Anyways, I want to move on to the next story. This was a beautiful story. I saw it. I just want to give you some sunshine the way that it gave me some sunshine. And that is this teacher was teaching his students and he did an excellent job. All right. He took boots on the ground.
Ready, here we go. 2, ready, and.
All right, we got to give it up for the Black male educator. Somebody say give it up for the Black male educator in the chat. Let me go ahead and give him some sound. Let me give him a round of applause because that was excellent. All right, that was really good. we need educators if we must. We must. If the kids must go to school, we definitely need the proper educators. This is a popular song. Everybody is going around talking about boots on the ground. Uh, and kids, there's the sound. There's a certain sound that upbeat. We need children to have a sense of enjoyment to education. I believe teachers are underpaid in this world. And I love the teachers who really put big efforts in trying to connect with children. I don't think it was easy. I think about the education that I personally had. Some of the teachers were good, some of the teachers were not good, some of the teachers were mean, some of the teachers were lazy. You got all these different personalities, but the objective is the same, is to move us along. So I think that was a beautiful thing. So shout out to the Black man. I was going to be an advocate for the Black man and all that he does, especially as it relates to education. I think that's my time. If you haven't gotten my book, Matters of the Heart, you should check it out. If you are a person who enjoys poetry, if you're a person who enjoys short stories, as well as reading a person's Facebook posts over the years, you would enjoy this book. It also has some beautiful artwork in it. It's my first book. I enjoy it. I love it. For me, I'm glad that I took the time to create something with my name on it. You can go to madampresident.com. Also, I teach a class every Saturday, Navigating Workplace Stress. A lot of folks are stressed out at work, and you need to be less stressed, and you need the community and the tools that are required so that you can be in your power. Somebody say, be in my power. Put that in a chat. That's the second thing. The third thing is, if you have absolutely no money and you just want a journal from Madam President, I suggest that you go to madampresident.com and get you a free journal. It costs you nothing. And then the final thing I would like to say is, if you like t-shirts and hoodies, you can go to thefreedom.company. That's where I have all my t-shirt designs that I've come up with over the years. I think you will enjoy it. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow. If you see any stories that you believe that will, light our fire and that you think will be a good fit for us on the Madam President Show, please make sure you send it over to me. I like doing this with you. I'm hoping for the best for you, no matter what. Also, my motto, beat this system. Don't let it beat you. I'm Madam President. Thank you for being with me. I will see you in the morning. Have a good day.